There appears to be a fundamental gap when one is trying to understand the nature of this cosmos, or the language of the universe, or even the symbology in ancient art and architecture. And I think that sacred geometry can step in to fill that gap. Hey everybody, I am Isha. I am the content curator at Polyconic Media, and today in this presentation we're going to be talking about understanding the universe through symbols, numbers, shapes and figures. So human beings, when it comes to human beings, I have to say that we have a preference for symmetry. And it is due to many reasons. It could be due to the cognitive strains that our brains experience, because let's say if everything was asymmetrical, we would have a lot of strain and load to understand and gap fill information. Maybe it is because of aesthetic completion. In any case, nature and human beings love symmetry. In nature you could find it in many places, in the honeycomb structure, which are hexagonal, or in the tubular structures in the plants, which are so vital to transportation of minerals and waters, or in the layout of the petals of a flower. It is everywhere. Nature has an inherent preference for symmetry. I think a fundamental quest, and in fact the very question that a lot of religious philosophies and ancient cultures and even current discourses on consciousness are trying to understand, is in fact understanding the nature of the cosmic world, and not just time scale removed from the earth, but more in the realm of the manifest world also. If there is a certain dynamicity or certain patterns that we could recognize that govern this world and the manifestations, then how are we going to do that is a major theme. There is indeed an immense focus on layout, on structuring of space, on harmonization, on contemplation of the forms of, let's say, yakshis in the Hindu mythology, or even on the geometric patterned forms. That contemplation, that concentration, there is an immense focus on these layouts. So thinking from the very first principles, the first point is really, that is it, that's the point. And when we focus on the point, we come to realize that without this point, there is no emanation and emergence of universe that is possible. So we have a point, and it is one. But even for the point to know itself, there has to be another one. This is very, very similar idea to the conception of Prakasha Vimarsha in Kashmir Shaivism, where Prakasha is essentially the undivided consciousness, and Vimarsha is the self-reflexivity, the knowing, the awareness. And it's very important. So we have a point, and then from that point we have a circle, because we have to have two in order for one to know one. The circular pattern actually builds upon itself and expands outwards, and expansion is the principle, the core principle of how this world has come to existence. That is, from singularity to the Big Bang to the expansion. Our universe is expanding indeed. But I'd like for you to focus on one more form, that is the square. The square is stable, it is alert, the shape is sharp, and it is often seen as the manifestation of the earth realm or the material realm. Even a quick look at the square forms like cube and rhombus kind of speaks a lot about the symmetry, the stability and the strength, the sharpness of its form. Now for the world to continuously manifest itself, the square has to build upon itself and expand continuously outward, and this form is called the geometric progression, this kind of expansion. It happens because, let's say we take a square and it has a 1 unit side, then its diagonal is √2, and √2 is the phenomenon that's cutting the stable figure in half. It is √2 that we are using to get more geometric progressions. And therefore it is this root phenomenon that first time gives rise to a division in the manifest material and very stable form. This branching and division and this expansion occurs consistently in nature. Consider how a tree's roots branch out to get the most nutrition from the ground. It increases its surface area and absorption precisely because it extends itself outward and divides. This principle is also seen in phyllotaxis, that is the spiral arrangement of leaves on a stem, in the branching of lightning, and even in the branching methods of the LLM computational models. It is because of this consistent branching through the root that we see so much increase in the material density of the world. So many touch points, so much computation is consistently happening around us. So as we study these forms, we study the point, we study the line that is shown by the emergence of 2 points, we understand that one is not possible without the other one, because how will one know that it is one? So it needs something to self-reflect consistently. This is the underlying nature of the world. The underlying nature of the world is reflection and recognition and expansion. We begin to see a potential language and a foundational blueprint that underlines not only the physical structures but also the very fabric of our creation, of our existence.